Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About. And in this episode we're talking about not an SCP, but a little thing called Everywhere at the End of Time. An early disclaimer warning, in this video we're going to talk about some pretty heavy stuff and mental diseases that may cause you into a deep thought state of mind that can be overall not too pleasant to be in. This topic is semi-personal to me, and this is going to be a very serious video. I don't even know if I'm going to have sprites for this one. If you see my guy right now, I went back on my word. But if you don't, that means there's going to be no sprites for the majority of this, if at all. If you aren't in a good headspace right now, like if you're having a bad day, I suggest clicking off the video and maybe saving it for a very later date. That being said, if you are ready, thank you so much for understanding, and subscribe for more, and enjoy the video. So the year is 2021, maybe around February. I was scrolling through my YouTube recommended section. I was bored, hungry, looking for something to watch while I ate. You know, like usual stuff that you would do. When all of a sudden I stumble upon a video, a thumbnail that catches my eye. It was a very specific picture. I didn't pay too much attention, though, as I was looking for something more specific, and the image that I nearly dodged faded away in a memory. Fast forward to November. It's Thanksgiving break. Me and my friend were playing games over Discord and enjoying our break. We eventually got bored, and he says to me, quote, "Hey, have you ever heard of this album called Everywhere at the End of Time?" This was the opening that led me and him listening to the whole thing in one sitting together, and the introduction to the beauty and horror that was this album. An introduction to Everywhere at the End of Time can be stated pretty much as follows: beautiful and terrifying. It was made by an artist called the Caretaker, real name Leland James Kirby. He's an English electronic musician with a lot of vinyl sounding music that is all made completely electronically. And he's been doing this for a very long time. His first album was called Selected Memories from the Haunted Ballroom, which released in 1999 and was inspired by The Shining, fun fact. But 1999, he has been making music for longer than I have been alive. All the music has this beautiful, surreal feeling to it. You can listen to any of his albums, and they're really, really good. They all have, like, a very old-style feeling. They're all very surreal. I love them. He's such a talented artist, and he's been doing this for longer than I've been alive. But in this one, we're just talking about probably his most famous one, Everywhere at the End of Time. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard of it, or if not completely of it, you've heard snippets from it, most likely. But the Caretaker does a very good job with his goal that he set out in making this. When you look up in YouTube the title of Everywhere at the End of Time, the first video that should come up is uploaded by vvmtest, with all 6 stages combined into one video. However, you might also notice it is 6.5 hours long. Now, the 6.5 hour album may sound a bit much. I know it sounded a bit much when I first was introduced to it, but I can assure you that it isn't. It's more like 6 one-hour albums stuck together, rather than a 6-hour album of one. That's really what it is. The stages came out separately. It wasn't all released at once, but it all goes together. And it's 6.5 hours, but it really, really feels like you're just going through 1-hour albums, just 6 of them. Before listening to it, I want to divert your attention to the description, so you can figure out what this album is about. Everywhere at the End of Time was a series exploring dementia, its advancement, and its totality. That's what this album is about. The stages of this album represent the stages and deterioration of someone's mind with dementia. What you listen to is essentially, you get to experience what it's like to lose your memories and yourself through this album. Each stage has its own description, which I'll get through in time, as well as each stage has a different artwork for it. The art I want to talk about right now. The art was made by an artist called Ivan Seal. He's an English artist and sound artist. His art specializes in the surreal and abstract art of memories and inanimate objects. I'm flashing up some of his other art on screen now. It's beautiful, but also kind of concerning. It's very abstract and it makes the mind think in ways, at least my mind, it makes my mind think in ways that I'm not too much of an okay person with. But he and Leland Kirby have worked together in the past, and he made the art for each album cover of this project. I will go into more detail about each of them when we get to the stages. The reason for the disclaimer and all that stuff is mostly because dementia is a very serious topic. Many people in human history have suffered and will come to suffer from it in their later years. One such person I would like to shine the spotlight on is an artist I found in my research for this script. An artist by the name of William Utermohlen. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name. Please don't haunt me. He passed away in 2007. William was an American artist who was eventually diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. When he was diagnosed, a year later from his diagnosis, he set out to do a self-portrait every year to show its progression and its effect, which looked like this. The change over time is almost scary. Over the years, his art goes from cohesive to as if he's lost himself. He loses his image, and it gets harder and harder to remember who's looking back from the mirror. Its kind of effect is displayed for all to see, as he is now remembered for these self-portraits. It is still very interesting to see how Ivan Seal took inspiration from William in the creation of the album covers of Everywhere at the End of Time. It created a timeline showing the deterioration of the mind with dementia through these unsettling art covers. And the fact that this man, William, is now purely embodied in his self-portrait, displaying it. He set out to do it himself until he couldn't do it anymore. The kind of dedication has to be admired, and a lot of people suffer from dementia. It's a very serious topic. It's important to me due to, just experiences I've had in life. It's an important topic to me. But without further delay, let's get into the beauty that is Everywhere at the End of Time. Now, most of the videos I see on this album, like other people reviewing it, I'm not the first one. I take inspiration from people I see on YouTube in my videos. Like, I get everything from somewhere, and I just want to be my own thing, right? I want to become my own personality on this platform. But I'm not the first person to review this album. No way in hell. But other people that I've watched videos on for this start with a stage 0. Because there isn't a stage 0 in the album. But it can be summed up as the pre-diagnosis stage. Typically with dementia, the starting sign is that there isn't any. It's just normal everyday life. You don't notice any of the signs. Maybe some memory loss, but that could be attributed to just regular aging. Because when you get older, your memories, they fade. Like, that's just normal. So there is no stage 0. There's no precursor sign. That's what makes dementia kind of scary. You don't know until it's already taking hold. It's when you hit stage 1 that the signs start to rear their heads. For just this stage 0, the music can be anything you want it to be. You make stage 0 because you are still you. Stage 1. Here we experience the first signs of memory loss. This stage is most like a beautiful daydream, the glory of old age and recollection, the last of the great days. The tracks in the album are purely old-time music, beautiful sounding record songs playing with very, very little distortion, sometimes none at all. The occasional vinyl crack happens, but all in all, the music is a symbol of your complete memories. It is defining you. The music is still whole. Your memories are still there. The vinyl crack is just signal like normal memory loss. It's normal for the most part. The art for this one is on your screen. Now, personally, I don't know what you see, but I see a magazine that's rolled up but ever so slightly damaged, signaling the ever so slight damage your mind is going through. Sadly, it's only downhill from there. The names of the tracks are kind of a calling, a glimpse into the future. Some of them, it's like you're looking into what you're about to go through in this album. Some of the songs are titled, "It's Just a Burning Memory," "We Don't Have Many Days," "Quiet Internal Rebellions," "My Heart Will Stop in Joy," and more. The most popular song of the entire project probably is "It's Just a Burning Memory." And well, that one is amazing. I like the calming, surreal song of "We Don't Have Many Days" more, and that's just my personal opinion. But most likely, even if you've never listened to this album before, A, I recommend it when you're in a good mental state, not if you're having a bad day, as the disclaimer said. B, even if you haven't listened to it, you've probably heard "It's Just a Burning Memory" before. It is used in so many forms of media because of how much of a hit this project was when it was completed. It's Just a Burning Memory. I'll get more into it later, but it's a good song. Frankly, I prefer "We Don't Have Many Days." I think that it's just a better sounding song, in my opinion. I just like it more. It's calmer. Like, don't get me wrong. Love "It's Just a Burning Memory," but we Don't Have Many Days. Very, very good. For the most part, the vinyl cracking in any of the songs is purely in the background, and the songs still remain, for the most part, whole. Confusion is not yet set in, because typically the first signs of dementia are not easily detectable. There isn't much leaving. It's all just minor confusion, which could be easily attributed to older age. However, stage 2 is where it starts to take hold. Stage 2. The second stage is the self-realization and awareness that something is wrong, with a refusal to accept that. More effort is made to remember, so memories can be more long-form with a little more deterioration in quality. The overall personal mood is generally lower than the first stage, and at a point before confusion starts setting in. Now, the art for this one looks like this. Now, again, I don't know what you see, but I see a flower pot with wilting flowers. The pot has holes in it, just like a person's memories as the disease progresses. That's what I see. The music is still there. More vinyl cracking, but overall the songs are still whole. Albeit a bit sad this time. Some track titles are "A Losing Battle is Raging," "What Does It Matter How My Heart Breaks," "Surrendering to Despair," "I Still Feel As Though I Am Me," "The Way Ahead Feels Lonely," and more. For the track "I Still Feel As Though I Am Me," the beginning is nothing, until the music finally pops up, as if we were struggling to recall a memory. It's a quick moment. You wouldn't realize it normally. You'd just be listening, it'd be a little bit of silence, and then the track would start, right? That is not what I see. I saw it as a person struggling to recall their first memory. and then it suddenly clicked. That's what I saw. In my research, I found evidence to suggest that a person with dementia will inevitably lose themselves and pass away. This is common knowledge, not what I was researching, but that's what happens. However, I found evidence that the last thing a person with dementia typically remembers is music. More accurately, their favorite song. Nurses who work with dementia patients say they always hear humming or light singing from the most advanced of people. When the music stops, they stop. It's like a final thing a person can hold on to. Stage 2 has this essence. You can feel the confusion starting to set in, as though that confusion, music, is still there, in great strength as well. It's rather interesting in that research. I did not expect to find that, but typically a person with dementia remembers the music, and what a nurse said, I did not remember to quote her name, but I remember it distinctly. This is off script, by the way. I remember it distinctly as, when the music stops, you can expect them to go very soon. It's a terrifying thought. But there's nothing more you can do about it. Because there's no cure, sadly. The best thing you can do is just move with the motion. Move with the motion of the ocean. That's really all you can do. This is where we move on to stage 3. Stage 3. Here we are presented with some of the last coherent memories before confusion fully rolls in and the gray mists form and fade away. Finest moments have been remembered. The music will flow in places as more confused and tangled. As we progress, some singular memories become more disturbed, isolated, broken, and distant. These are the last embers of awareness before we enter the post-awareness stage. The art for this is the beginning of where we lose the ability to accurately see what it is. I have no idea what you see here, but I can assure you that I have virtually no clue. I can maybe see overgrown vegetation, but I am confused. And that's what I think this piece was meant to show. The complete confusion that is about to set in. About to finally take hold. That's what I think this is. Confusion. The art for this is terrifying. It's the sign of confusion, and that resonates with anyone who's actively thinking about it. Music for the stage has more confusion intertwined within it. Tracks stop at points where you wouldn't expect. I mean, some of the track names include And Heartbreaks, Libet's All Joyful Camaraderie, Burning Despair Does Ache, An Empty Bliss Beyond This World, Libet Delay, Mournful Camaraderie, etc. You may notice some repeating titles in those tracks, the camaraderie bits. Those share very similar things, but the first one is more together than the other one is. Now, I do want to circle back a bit. There's a common theme in these 3 stages, and that's going to require us to go back to stage 1. The song It's Just a Burning Memory. One may think, when they look at that title, oh, it's just a play on the fact that soon the person's memories will be on fire, dying, however you may put it. And you are right. However, the song itself is a rehash of the song Heartaches by Al Bowley. The track name of It's Just a Burning Memory is one of the 8 lyrics in that song by Al Bowley. The song appears in each of these 3 stages. First, as previously stated, in the track, it's just a burning memory. Secondly, in stage 2, in the track, what does it matter how my heart breaks, which is another lyric from that song. And finally, in stage 3, in the track, and heart breaks. From this, I feel like this song was the person that this album is showing us through. I feel like it was that person's favorite song, considering it's come up in each stage. However, the time in stage 3 sounds very echoey. It sounds like the memory is fading, the gray mists is arriving, and even your favorite song is going. Seriously, if you jump from stage 1 of It's Just a Burning Memory to And Heartbreaks in stage 3, it's the same thing, but one is way more put together than the other. Confusion is very much setting in, and it doesn't hold a candle to what nightmares are about to follow in the post-awareness stages of this project. Let me tell you, the music is gone, for the most part. Stage 4. Post-awareness stage 4 is where serenity and the ability to recall singular memories gives way to confusions and horror. It's the beginning of the eventual process where all memories begin to become more fluid through entanglements, repetition, and rupture. This stage is where confusion truly gives way to chaos. There are only 4 tracks in this stage, 3 of which are the same title, called Stage 4 Post-Awareness Confusions, with one in the middle being called Temporary Bliss State. Now, the first track of the stage, I'm unsure of what to think. I think I hear the same Al Bowley song, but you tell me what you hear in the comments, because I'm pretty sure through the whole of stage 4 you hear songs from the other stages dying out, giving way to the static. I think I hear it, I just don't know. It's really difficult for me to hear. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. The art is very reminiscent of the artist's depictions in his self-portrait. You know, William's self-portraits. It looks like a very sad person. Still a person. Losing themselves, but still a person. It looks like one of the self-portraits. I mean, look at the comparison. It's not the same, but, you know, it looks like it. Now, there's a part in this stage that genuinely caught me off guard, and it's this sound in the background now. It's a part of the project people call the Hell Sirens. It's terrifying, as I'm just listening with my friend, and suddenly, through the static, in comes that. Clean out of nowhere. I was not expecting that when I listened to this part, but it signaled to me that it's only going to get worse from here in Stage 5. In Stage 5, it definitely gets worse. Stage 5. Post-awareness Stage 5. Confusions and horror. More extreme entanglements. Repetition and rupture can give way to calmer moments. The unfamiliar may sound and feel familiar. Time is often spent only in the moment, leading to isolation. The art. I don't even know what to say. I see an old Victorian-style person going up the stairs. I also see someone riding a horse or some other animal. It's a symbol of pure confusion. Memories flow together. It flows into pure streams of nonsense that doesn't make sense and at the same time makes complete sense. And the music reflects that. Listening to this for the first time gave me actual chills. Pure chaos is in the mind of the person and I don't know how to cope. other than pause for a bit and come back. Sadly, however, a person in this stage of dementia can't pause it. It is constant and terrifying knowing you're losing yourself, and soon there won't be anything left. The music for the stage is again, like stage 4, only 4 tracks, 2 of which are titled Advanced Plaque Entanglements. Then the last 2 are different, the first one being Synapse Retrogenesis, and the last track is called Sudden Time Regression into Isolation, which goes back to the description of the stages. The music is a haunting example of the stream of memories both fading and morphing together, losing more and more with each passing day, each passing moment, becoming more isolated as you can't remember the people around you, and you don't know what's real, what's fake, and what's just a burning memory. But with that, we reached the final stage. Stage 6. Post-awareness stage 6 is without description. Isolation, confusion, all culminates to this. Nothing. The 4 tracks have unique names. A confusion so thick you forget to forget. A brutal bliss beyond this empty defeat. Long decline is over. And finally, place in the world fades away. The songs, for the most part, are not songs. They are static. They are confusion. And a complete loss of what you once were. At this point, the listener of the album becomes used to the noise instead of the music, or at least I did. It stopped becoming noise to me. It just became normal. And I think that's what the Caretaker was aiming for. Because at this point in dementia, it's just normal. Nothing more you can do. Now, the art for this album is possibly the most scary. And it's just this. A slab of cardboard with tape. Not creative to the common eye, but what I see is a blank slate. A person with no more memories left. An empty canvas. Now, going straight from stage 1 to stage 6, you really wonder how one got here. But if you listen to the whole thing, then you really get the feelings of deterioration that the albums are portraying. There is nothing left but a few minute glimmers of an old memory that slowly get taken away. At the end of the whole track, there are the sounds of angels singing. A sign of death finally reaching the person with dementia. The angelic choir, ready to take you to your final destination. And with that, the album ends. And the listener is left with this feeling that's a mixture of, what the hell did I just listen to? And at least in my case, a feeling of pure sorrow. You practically listen to someone lose themselves and die. No one walks away from that unfazed. Dementia is a very personal topic for me, one that shares a few moments in my personal life, but this album made me feel what others with the actual mental affliction go through. It made me feel so much more awful. I miss the people I've lost to it. even more now after experiencing this album. It's beautiful and yet terrifying. And with that, I just feel closer to them. I feel closer to the people I've lost to dementia. And after listening to this, it's like a part of them I'm able to recall, and it makes me feel so bad knowing what they've gone through before they passed. But with that final note, I think we can come to the end of the video. Now, if you want to listen to this full album in full, which I do recommend, I say you do it. I say that if you think you can do it, it's 6.5 hours, so be sure you have it on a day where you have the time. Do it all in one sitting. I really recommend it. It is a visceral experience that is one people should listen to at least once in their life. It's something that should be experienced. Not to get, meta or looking into the future, because I don't know the future, but you don't know if you're going to end up with it in 60 years, however old you may be. You don't know if you're going to end up with it. But when listening to this, you get that slight taste. It's something that a person should experience. Now, with that being said, I gotta bring this video to a close. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, please like it and subscribe for more. Leave a comment on any suggestions you want to see me talk about in the future. And also leave a comment telling me how you felt after the video. It's gonna be a longer one, but I think it's definitely worth it. Thank you all very much. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.